I always love to get to know people, and short but sweet and to the point. We talked with Kevin Garst, and by we I mean me, as we talked about his days as a player at Salem, as a player at Hampden Sydney, and much more. Kevin Garst on the Sports Buffet podcast. When you were deciding, because you played at Hampden Sydney, correct?
That's right.
How did you decide on Hampden Sydney?
Yeah, so honestly, I was not super heavily recruited. There was a couple ODAC schools that showed interest, but I don't think I was on anybody's A list. And I'd gone to 5-star basketball camp back when it was at Hampden Sydney, and actually Russell Turner was the assistant there then. And so he was from Roanoke, and so he watched a couple games, and then anyways, long story short, they were interested a little bit, and I had a buddy from here at Salem that was 2 years older than me that went to school there. And so I went up and visited and watched them practice, and I loved what they were doing, and I just could see myself there. And so I ended up going, and I was probably the 15th guy that made the team that year, and but it ended up working out. So it was probably more I picked them than they picked me.
Do me a favor, just in case anybody doesn't know who Russell Turner is, tell them who Russell Turner is.
So Russell Turner went to Patrick Henry, and he is the all-time leading scorer in Hampden Sydney history. And he was an assistant at Wake, and then he went to, I think, Stanford. And then he was assistant with Golden State, and most recently he's been the coach at UC Irvine for a while. So he's been super successful out there.
Yeah, I was just going to have you do that because this man's got credentials. It's not like he just fell off the watermelon truck the other day. Now, when you were at Hampden Sydney, was the head coach, was it Shaver at that point or no?
Yeah, it was Tony Shaver.
What's the biggest thing you learned from Tony Shaver?
Oh man, that's a great question. So, Coach Shaver played at Carolina for Dean Smith, and we ran the Carolina system, terminology, everything down to the T. And we used to joke it was everybody loved playing that system. You pressed, you ran. And we used to joke, it took about maybe 10 years after graduation to realize there is other ways you can do this, but it was just, it was a good system, and it was fun to play in. And he was very, very passionate, intense. But it was a good experience.
And I'll tell you what, I don't think Tony Shaver gets enough credit for being as good of a coach as he was, because I think a lot of people, and not to knock D3 because I love Division III, but I think a lot of people look at it, well, he only coached at a D3 school. Well, he was still really, really, really smart from everything I've heard.
Yeah, no, and he actually went from Hampden Sydney to William and Mary.
Right.
And, I guess William and Mary still has never been to the NCAA tournament, but I know they were in the finals, their conference tournament finals, 3 or 4 times. He really turned that program around and elevated it, and was super close to getting there. But yeah, no, you're not going to find a better coach.
When did you know that you were good enough to play on the next level? Because everybody can't do it.
Oh man, I didn't.
What'd you learn at the 5-star camp? What'd you learn at the 5-star camp?
Yeah, I guess kind of going back to, as a freshman, I remember when I got on campus and there's 10 other freshmen that are just as good as me, and I'm like, oh man, this is different. And everybody can play, but I guess the more you play with that level, like eventually you adjust to it and get to the point where you can compete. But I don't know that there was a specific time when I was like, man, I can definitely do this. But I definitely had to earn everything.
Who were some of the better players in the ODAC when you were playing there?
Oh man, I know. So like the group, the class behind me at Hampden Sydney, they had 4,000-point scores. And so it was like Jack Jurack, Jeremy Harris, TJ Grimes, and Chris Fox. And then let's see here, Randolph Macon was good. They had like Matt Meehan and Joe Golden.
Was Randolph Macon then what they are now?
Not quite, but so when I was there, that was right at the end of Hal Nunley's career, and Mike Rhodes was kind of like his assistant, but I think that last year, I mean, he was doing a lot of the stuff, and eventually took over shortly thereafter.
It's worked out pretty good for him too, by the way.
He's done really well. He's done really well. So.
And there's no love lost between Sydney and Macon, I guess, at that point either, because that's called the game, I believe, in football and basketball. I know can sell out too.
Oh yeah, no, it was an unbelievable rivalry, and yeah, my senior year, we actually we actually ended up playing them in the NCAA tournament at Hampden Sydney, and it was man, you talk about an atmosphere. It was packed.
Why is it such a passionate rivalry?
Oh man, that's a good question. I guess just for so many years they've just been rivals. Dating all the way back to, honestly, I don't know.
What made you see it as a rivalry when you got there? Anything stick out?
Yeah, no, I mean, you could just tell it was different. Like the intensity of the game, and like, I guess you knew it was a rivalry, but like until you actually play in it, it's like, okay, this is a different level, and you could just tell it meant more to the players, to people in the community, just bragging rights, all that stuff.
Now, we talked about your time at Salem High School as a player and as a coach. When you guys were playing, it was the River Ridge was not around yet, or was it?
It was not. It was the Blue Ridge District back then.
And it's a big district at that point. I mean, you don't have Hidden Valley, and I'm not trying to age you, but you don't have Hidden Valley as a school when you're playing, correct? They came a little bit later.
Yeah. No, that's correct. So I graduated in 95. I think Hidden Valley opened up in maybe 2002. Right. So Cave Spring was a AAA back then. So it was us, Northside, Bird, Botetourt, Allegheny, and Rockbridge, I think.
Who was the biggest rival to Kevin Garst when he was playing?
Oh, it was Northside.
How come?
So, let's see here. They had been really, really good, and then my sophomore year, I think we might have split with them, and that was maybe the first time we beat them in a while. And then my junior year, we ended up playing each other 6 times. And so it was one of those games where, that's back when their gym was the smaller gym.
Right.
And, you're sneaking people in through the locker room so they can get to the game. It's selling out at like 3:00 in the afternoon. And it was good.
What's going to be maybe the lasting image you have of your playing career when you sit down and think about it? Sneaking people in the
Honestly,
locker room?
no. Honestly, just super thankful to be in just great situations. I had a chance to play for Coach Morgan and Coach Shaver, and like, I'm not sure you could draw up a better plan, to be honest.
What's one big thing that Coach Morgan taught you that you even remember today?
I think the biggest thing with him was just how hard we worked, and like, I just think, he showed us a level that I don't think we really had seen before, and I think it was good. I think it helped us win games late. It just helped with your mental toughness, and he was really big on fundamentals, like going to, you probably don't remember, but the Lipscomb camp when
Mm-hmm.
Don Meyer was there,
Mm-hmm.
and so we would go out there. But I would say just little fundamentals and mental toughness is probably the biggest thing I would take from him.
What did you think hard work was before you played for him?
I wasn't sure, but it was definitely different than what he taught us.
Right. Because I've got to imagine, as youngsters, everybody has chores and they think they're working hard. I know Salem is a little bit of different area. Like I kind of grew up in sort of in Forest. I don't want to say more affluent, but you have some affluent
Uh-huh.
areas type of thing. But I think when you hear hard work and you get to a sporting practice, like you said, different level of hard work. I mean, what made it harder? Because everybody says we work hard.
Yeah, so when he first got here my sophomore year, the first thing we did was load up and went to Lipscomb camp, and we had no idea what it was. And so we're on this little activity bus, and we're like, where's this place at? We like passed the time zone, and we're like, we eventually got there. And then after that, we went to, we came back, and then we went to team camp for like 2 weeks. So he took us out to Tennessee Tech, and then we stayed overnight, came back to like Johnson City. We played Science Hill. And so it's like, man, this is different. And then, in the preseason, we ran in condition like never before.